Alright, hello and welcome to the second Omnia Ramble. I'm NYJ, and I'll be hosting this from now on with my co-host Dave. And tonight we'll be talking about long-term mentalities with obviously the special guest Paul, who's streaming it. He doesn't really need an introduction. And yes, thank you for all your support from the first Omnia Ramble. It is really appreciated. And may as well start, I guess. I'm NYJ, rank 7.
I'm DMP, rank 27.
Before I introduce myself, guys, I just want to share with you guys that yesterday was so hot that my fan was asking me to buy an air conditioner. And hi, my name is Paul No Life, and I'm a lieutenant in Omnia.
Alright, so what have you guys been up to in game?
Right now I'm runesmithing, making capital to do some Bibles.
Mage is being slain. I think we're currently nearly 79 mil slayer. We started a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I've pretty much been slaying too. I've been slaying since like May or something. Ever since I got crafting done, pretty much. Alright, so tonight on the Rambo, we're basically going to be talking about long-term mentalities, how it fits into our daily lives and how it improves and helps us towards 200 Malal. So, with what you guys are doing in-game right now, how is that helping towards your long-term mentalities?
Smithing, for me it's helping a lot because of the money I'm making, which obviously goes to the Bibles that I plan to do, which is my first goal in this game is to do my Bibles before my gathering skills. So it's smithing, definitely it's helping with that.
Yeah, I mean, for me...
Paul, can you turn the music off, please? Nobody can hear what we're saying.
Yeah.
Good to go now?
Yeah, we are good now.
Okay.
Yeah, like for me, for the most part, it's basically just slaying, and it's all about keeping the other skills in mind if you're talking about a long-term mentality. Like, for example, I'm slaying right now, but I have the melees in mind, like, doing that while doing other things in real life, zero timing it, obviously, and then that, obviously, moving into other skills in the future, like agility. And, obviously, I think that mobile, with that coming out, that's going to put a big wrench into things with, the gatherers, zero timing that, with woodcutting. It's certainly a possibility in the future. So, with what I'm doing right now, like that all, it's all about that combining with the other skills and thinking of the whole game in general, 200 Malal, and how that, like, generally, like, it combines into one, and I try to do it all together instead of just focusing on one skill.
So
I think
you look at your zero times as something you pair right in with your regular skilling.
I know, Paul, you're going to be doing Nightmare Zone after Slayer, right?
Yeah, I'll definitely be doing NMZ. And I plan on just doing chaining as well with range and defense.
I know a few people were like criticizing you for not really doing chinning during what is it, chinning dusts?
Dusts, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
How
funny.
dare you?
I think I'm too hard-headed to follow efficient methods. I just believe in get a 200 mil and move on.
But you enjoy it. You enjoy it more when you do it the way you want to do it, though, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's
Well,
more
the
long
interesting
term.
part.
You won't burn out of Slayer if you enjoy
Well, I mean,
what you're
that's the
doing.
interesting thing. Well, that's the interesting thing, though, because I think that, Paul, like you and I have a very similar mentality in terms of, finishing the skill and getting it, but I think the path is different. Like, you want to do one skill at a time, whereas, like, I'm doing, melees, I'm doing Slayer, I'm doing all that at once while focusing on, in the future, doing zero timing woodcutting, for example, on the phone.
And also, I wanted to say that I feel like as long as you get it done and then move on is basically the same thing. But at the same time, I know that I lose on a lot of things by sticking to one skill at a time, even though it'll be damaging me and it already done. It already did damage me from the past 2 years, if you guys think about it. But that's what it takes. Sometimes, if you want to stick to something that you believe in, you gotta accept all the disadvantage that is gonna come with it.
Well,
And
I
I
mean,
just feel like I feel better using this kind of mentality rather than
I think it's
all
also.
about being efficient, efficient, efficient. I give nothing but props to efficient players, but at the same time, I just feel like I feel better just sticking to one skill at a time.
Paul's
Even
a lot
though,
louder
even
than the
though,
rest of us. I'm sorry to cut you off, but is there anything you can
uh,
do? We apologize the first time we're doing this as a live broadcast, but Paul, is there a way that you can make my volume and NYJ's volume a little bit louder so that the boys can hear us a little
sure,
better?
sure,
I don't know why they'd want to hear me any louder than I already am, but we'll
yeah, like
oblige.
that. Hold on, I'll make it 50%, and then you guys let me know. Better?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, let me know.
Better, better, worse, better.
Yeah, it sounds pretty loud, so I guess it's good now.
Better? Okay.
That should be good then.
Yeah.
But no,
But yeah,
I agree with the way
nothing
you
but props.
I agree with the way that you do exactly what you want to do, regardless if it's seen as efficient or not efficient, because it's kept you very consistent for a very long time, and you have a lot of longevity, in my opinion, versus people who force themselves to do certain things just because it's deemed the right way or the wrong way.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Because
Paul.
when I was going for max, I used to try to be efficient, somewhat efficient, but that was definitely damaging me. Like I burned out within that year when I started. I burned out probably 4 times in a row trying to be efficient as possible because I wasn't feeling it. But then when I started, sticking to one skill at a time, even though I was losing on efficiency, I felt way better. So I had to make a lot of adjustments and switches.
Well, I think you have a lot of confidence as well because, like, you gave people a 2-year advantage basically by doing Nats for 2 years, and yet you're still almost rank 50 EHP. So I think I think that confidence helped you build up to that. And now you're doing 1-to-1
You gave
EHP,
us 2 years and you're still
and
gonna pass us. Thanks a lot.
well, yeah, I think that the confidence of doing that and now doing 1-to-1 EHP will help a lot.
Yeah, it's nice. As long as we keep playing the game, that's what matters. Like, this is the only first ever game that will keep me around for the next few years because the background of games that I used to play back in the day would only last like 6 months, 5 months, maybe a year. But this game is,
Hmm.
I got to be nothing but appreciative about this game because I feel like anybody that is playing this game right now, they should be grateful because it's a opportunity that we having in this day and age. If you really think about it, like for
It's
example, when RS3 came out and then RuneScape basically died, right? Nobody was looking for it to come back, but look what happened in 2013. Like everybody was like, oh excited to come back. They didn't care they were maxed or 200 mil all in RS3. They couldn't wait to start old school. So I think it's a privilege for us to be
Yeah,
playing
yeah. I was gonna say
nowadays.
that. I think yeah, it's for sure. Like I think that we're blessed to have a game that's is such a long-term game, yet is still very active. I mean, with mobile coming out, we're gonna have like I wouldn't be surprised if there's like 90,000 people on at once, maybe more. And with how long-term this is in the competitive scene, I mean, thousands and thousands of hours. It really is a very unique situation, and it's certainly good.
I
It's
think
what's
it's the
needed.
best move that Jagex ever made
Yeah.
yeah, is making it RuneScape an app.
well
Hmm.
when you make it able for more people to do it in zero time or while they're doing their obligations, you make it more long term that way,
Yeah, it's gonna make
because
it
then
grow.
they don't. A lot of people, I know some people out there that have had to stop playing because of their work or school or so other things. But if they had mobile, they could see a like they could probably complete a more long term goal that they set for themselves rather than thinking that they'll have to quit.
How many hours do you
So
have this year in just zero time alone, Dave? Like Nightmare Zone?
um, between I was away for 3 months, but still in the course of the last year, I still have about 900 EHP worth of phone time between thieving, between melee. I did some agility, I did some chinning, believe it or not. I did some smithing on my phone for a while. There was a lot of things that I did on remote desktop, but I plan to really test. I really want to test the mobile to see what I'm able to do.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I only started doing zero timing, I think, in this semester alone, so it hasn't even been 6 months yet. But it certainly is valuable. I mean, as you mentioned on the last ramble, like, getting home after doing 800k strength XP over like 1 mil XP for the day, coming home to that, it's really motivating, and it really helps jumpstart your session for the day.
it's true.
And yes, with mobile, I mean that's gonna help the long term nature of it too, because I mean think of woodcutting. Like woodcutting right now, if you're two ticking woodcutting, I don't know, like that might come back to bite you if you can zero time it. Like Jagex might have a switch where like you can just click on the phone and it just drops it all at once.
The drop switch dreams
Whatever the
was
hell it's called, you just drop it all at once. It'll first of all it'll be smoother than remote desktop, and second of all you're gonna have that option. I mean it's gonna be very nice. So that's why I'm waiting on woodcutting, among other
I'm
things.
I respect that people wanna, like, a lot of people, they enjoy two-tick woodcutting, but for me, I'm somebody who, I mean, it may not happen. It really depends on what life throws at me, because you can never really guarantee what will happen. But
Yeah.
I'm somebody that likes to think of myself as a person that will actively go for 200 mil. Um, and by the way, could we unban Dan S, please? He's really wanting to watch the stream right now. Dan underscore S underscore OSRS. But what I was saying is the phonescape for me has really changed a lot of things, and it's put me in a mentality that has made me see the game in a more long-term way, which before I used phone methods, I didn't see myself as a player that would ever get top page or anywhere near that. So since the phone methods were introduced to me, it's been like a whole different game for me, and it's definitely became more long-term because of it.
I feel like they mentioned something about not having any sort of updates towards mobile. It's because they don't realize the kind of impacts that it's going to have. So as soon as they realize that, I feel like they're going to bring quality life updates into mobile to make it easy for people to play and more
They
enjoyable.
must.
Yeah.
Well,
Why would they make it hard?
yeah, they're a company. I mean, they're gonna go where their wallet makes money, really. So, I mean, they might say right now they might be moralists and say, oh, we're not gonna do that. There's no way it's gonna happen. But, what have they said in 2013 that has been in the game already because of updates? I mean, we're gonna get updates from mobile. I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, we're gonna make money, or they're gonna make money, and it's gonna be good.
Anything that
The longer this game's yeah, the longer this game's here, the better it is. So if they make money, go ahead. I don't care.
it's such a lengthy game. It's like it almost seems like it's never gonna end because it doesn't stop at skilling, in my opinion. You have content way beyond that. You have pets, you have PKing, you have PBMing, you have quests,
Yeah.
achievements. Like, there's so much content that if you're a person who doesn't have a long-term outlook on something, I mean, it could be the game for you if you're willing to kind of clamp down on your mentality and kind of, limit yourself. But if you let yourself go with it, you could have a game that you could play for several years, and I really love that fact of the game. But going back to what you said about how they'll have to make the mobile app user friendly, I feel like that's a guarantee because no one's going to want to use it if it's not user friendly, and they'll have to, in my opinion, they'll have to make it user friendly. I don't know about a drop switch, but we can dream, right?
I'm pretty sure they said they're gonna do something similar in July. Like they were gonna have that. I mean, you're gonna have a lot of noobs, a lot of new players coming into the game. Jagex needs to make it as easy as possible for them. So I feel like that's a possibility. I don't know.
I would hope so. That would be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you plan on using mobile at all, Paul? When you when you have obligations and stuff like that, are you planning to take part in that at all?
Probably not, but who knows? Who knows, right? It might become an option in the future. But
Right.
I hardly see it, to be honest.
I mean,
Because
So,
I mean,
most of the time I'm just sitting here and playing, and I feel
right.
like if I was gonna play when I go out,
Kella
um,
gang.
yeah, I don't
I,
know, it would feel weird, man.
I mean,
But I think for those people that work, those people that have a job, those people that go to school and stuff like that, oh man, it's a blasting option,
well, I mean,
because
there's people out there that do 60K an hour lavas on the phone while driving. So I mean, any like AFK
I've
woodcutting,
heard
anything
about
like that
that.
is very very easy. Like there's no issues.
I've read about that. Now, boys, when did I know? And I know it's probably not true. If it is, deny me. But when you first started playing, did you guys see it as a long-term goal for yourselves, or did it sort of grow on you post max and so on? Was it always a long-term outlook for you guys, or did that kind of grow on you as you went on? Like RuneScape in general, old school in general.
I don't know, I felt like I was always a skiller. Like I think that you did PKing at the beginning, but yeah, for me I always just skilled. Like I know I'm not really a gatherer guy, but my first 70 skill was mining, and that's what got me into the game originally, which is pretty crazy. But
73 viewers.
but but uh but yeah, it's just for me it was just all about like the skilling and the repetitiveness about it. I don't know, like just working towards a long-term goal.
It's hard not to when you have so
Hmm.
much time invested. What about you, Paul? Was it always a long-term outlook for you?
I think in my case it was just um, since I played for 3 months back in 2007. I think I already told you guys this, but I was killing goblins for 2 hours every day after school, and
Damn.
eventually I quit after those 3 months because then girlfriend and
Actually,
then school, sports. But then when my brother told me that old school was gonna come back in 2013, I was so hyped. But at that time I was working, so I was really looking forward to it in the future.
Hmm.
And when I moved back with my family, that's when I was like, wait, I remember my brother saying something about RuneScape, and then
my
that's when I was like, wait, we have old school RuneScape? Oh my god! And then I went insane, and that's when I started playing. And my
Sick.
first goal was to max, and then as soon as I got maxed, uh, I I didn't know what I was gonna do, to be honest. But then I realized that I enjoyed rune crafting. So I was like, wait, so I'm gonna go back to this skill so I can think about what I'm gonna do next. And then that's when I was like, wait, if I did RC to max, then I might do RC to 200 mil all if that is a long term game plan.
So you
And
set
that's what
yourself up long term right after you maxed is when you started looking at it as a bigger picture than just max.
Exactly, because I was telling
Okay.
myself if I can max while RCing, then I might have a chance to go for these crazy 200 mils, which was very unrealistic at the time. So I think that's how everything started. It was basically getting confident from rune crafting money, and then uh, I think that's where it started growing.
Yeah, the money helps a lot, doesn't it?
It feels good because in every other game that I played from back then, it was all about make money first and then have fun later. That was
Yeah.
the base, like, and I think it'll always be the base. Make money first and then have fun.
Um. So MIJ, Paul kind of said that like after max is when he started looking at it more long term. Did you see the game beyond just maxing even before you were maxed, or was it the same principles applied for you?
well, by the time I got 2K total, I knew that I wanted to get 200 mil cooking and 200 mil fire making first, like as soon
Right.
as I maxed. So it was just kind of something I always wanted to do. And this was before like I even wanted to go for DMP, wanted to go for ranked. Like this was before all that. I just naturally enjoyed doing those skills. And this was but before like before Wintertop, before all that crazy shit came out. I did it with Magic Logs. That shit was like 800 mil, and that was a waste of money. I should have waited on fire making, but not much you could do now. But yeah, the first thing I wanted to do was cooking and then fire making, and that's what we got done.
So the
Uh,
disposable skills,
well,
basically.
yeah, pretty much. I did those. When I maxed, I was like ranked 95 or something, 92 or something. And it's like,
Right.
oh yeah, that's cool. Let's just do cooking and fire making, not for the rank, but just for the fun of it, because that was my plan all along. Then we got those skills done, then I did, I think it was hunter. Yeah, it was hunter. It was cooking, hunter, and then fire making, and that's when I knew I just wanted to keep playing.
Do you think ranks drive a lot of people for the longevity, or do you think it's just kind of the goals that they have? Like, what
Well,
do you think? What
well,
do you think about that?
I mean, to an extent, like obviously, if you go on the craziest end of the spectrum, like if there was no high scores, then obviously I think everybody up here would be playing differently. But
Right.
on the other end, a lot of it's just for the fun. The play style is just fun, going for personal goals, going for 200 mils. So it's somewhere along that spectrum, and it's different for everybody.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree that setting yourself up with goals that are gonna help you down the line is definitely a good way to go about it. Like Paul said, making the money first. I'm sure a lot of people look at it like that. Like even before they're maxed, they try to make the money, do their buyables, do their gatherings, or vice versa. Either way, but I feel like a lot of players. I don't know if you guys agree on this or not, but I feel like a lot of people see maxing as the long-term goal. I don't know. It just seems a little short-sighted to me, but I guess to each his own.
I feel
Long-term.
like those are the like casual PVMers.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
it's pretty
PVMers.
casual to
Yeah.
just want to max, but if that's what they're into.
How do you guys view like planning different skills? Like I know a lot of people like they want to go for 200 mil at a time, or they want to go for 50 mil in one skill, then they'll see whatever they want to do after that. So how do you guys like view that? Like do you plan a long time ahead or what?
I am. I
Do you
skill hop
plan?
every couple of weeks or months, depending on the way I like to do it. Is I like to
Mm-hmm.
make some money, then I smash out some viable XP, then I go back to making money, or I'll do like a little bit of. I don't know. I've seen myself as a person that if I stick to something for too long, I get bored, and then I feel like not. I feel less motivated. So I definitely skill hop. Skill hopping helps me. Skill hopping definitely helps me. What about you, Paul? How do you feel about skill hopping?
Um, n- Believe it or not, boys, but a couple of weeks ago, I heard like when your XP rate is dropping on a certain skill, like for example, if you're mining, then people usually go to like agility for a little bit so they can recuperate, and then go for other skills such as woodcutting to maintain a EHP rate. So when I realized that, now I completely understand why people go for efficiency, and why they train multiple skills during the day, but I didn't know that. Like only a couple. I've been knowing that for only a couple of weeks. So now I completely understand where these efficient players are coming from.
I remember at one point you used to pick on me for skill hopping, but then I kind of changed your mind on that. Like you started seeing how I was able to make money, go do viable XP, go back, make money, go do viable XP. Like did that open up your eyes to the people out there that do a lot of skill hopping and they're still successful players?
I think it just made me less moral, like less like it made me more open minded towards what people truly want to do in the game.
I
Because
I don't
back in the
know.
day, I all I thought about was just if you don't stick to one skill at a time, you're gonna burn out, and then
Yeah,
how is gonna break loose, and then everything is gonna
that's a
blow up.
big that's a
But
big view by a lot of that was a big view at one point by a lot of high level players, was that
uh,
basically if you couldn't stick to one skill at a time, you're shit, is basically
yeah,
the
but
mentality that was
nowadays
pretty big.
everybody's trying to be more efficient, and just to maintain EHP. So I understand why now they switch to different skills and stuff like that.
There's people that
And,
switch
and
to
the thing
different
is,
skills each
and
day.
the thing is, I think the opposite is happening now, because back in the day, sticking to one skill at a time was the way to go. But now it seems like you got to be efficient at all times. Like I think the tables are turned now. So I definitely need to be more open minded towards it. even though I won't personally do it, but I completely understand where people are coming
So you
from.
don't you respect that that's longevity for some people is skill hopping versus forcing themselves to stick to the
I,
same skill.
I think since people value EHP, I think that's what's going to keep them going. Because
Right.
if they feel like they're efficient at all times, I think they should use that as something positive. I don't believe in motivations or feeling, just to put it out there, by the way, guys. So I feel like they should use that as a weapon. You know what I mean? Like, so if you feel efficient at all times and you feel good about it every time you check your AHP and it's going up, and also you're making the most of your hours every hour, so then stick to that mentality.
I believe that whatever method, whatever mentality a person needs to utilize to get through their goals. I don't want to say get through because that makes it sound like they're forcing themselves, but if you know what I'm saying, when people set themselves up on a goal, if they force themselves to do a method that they don't enjoy or force themselves to play a certain amount of hours and they get to the point where they're like, I'm bored, I'm burnt, they're going to be more likely to quit, and they're going to be more likely to slow down their pace. So I feel like finding your pace, finding your like what would be the word, finding your sweet spot, I guess you could call it, on what
Yeah.
you
Well,
what you
I think
see.
I think that's to an extent though, because a lot of the moral non-alt users, like, they argue, oh well, playing an alt's not fun, so therefore they never do that. Yet you see them struggle on the high scores. So I think there's like a different spectrum for that, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what if in my opinion, and people can think what they want of this opinion, but I feel like the non-alt users, unless there's some non-alt users that are on par, if not better than a lot of alt users out there, but I feel like a lot of non-alt users are kind of in their own bracket, because if two people are playing the same amount of time each week, if player A has an alt, if player B doesn't have an alt, player A is going to put in more work overall within a year or within 2 years than the person without the alt. But if the person without the alt enjoys the game more than the person, say, forcing themselves to play an alt just for money, just for ranks, so on, so on, maybe the player without the alt might have more longevity at that point because they're not forcing themselves to play an alt. So
Well,
I don't.
actually, I had that mentality. I was actually talking to Jekyll about that like 2 years ago. I don't know how I remember, but yeah, I was saying that I was running Nats with him. I think Horderland was there too, and we were saying that, oh, like, why play an alts? I mean, it's gonna burn us out long term. We're better off
Mhm.
not playing it. But thing is, it's more about opening up and trying it. So I made that Wyvern alt. It's very AFK. Doesn't really
I'm
matter.
glad I'm glad you
So,
adapted to that. We talked a lot about that, and I'm glad I was able to kind of convince you to adapt to that mentality, because you've gotten a lot more done in a short period of time because of money coming in constantly.
I think most people do, yeah. But yeah, for the most part, it's more about like combining a combination of, do you want to do double deaths? Do you want to do double nats for that long? Obviously, Paul did it, and he doesn't have an issue, but he was doing it for like 115 hours a week at a time for months and months and months. But for like the average player, I mean, that'll set you back. So I think it's about finding that like ground, I guess, like that middle ground. And for me, a Wyvern alt is very AFK, and it's good enough.
Yeah, I started using two Wyvern alts a couple months back, and it's changed a lot for me. It's put my goals a lot more in perspective. As long as I could stay away from that arena, which seems to be a problem for me. We'll talk about that in a bit, about
Oh wow.
I call that the longevity killer, the old sand arena there. But
Stay away from what, Dave?
Put that on your ignore list.
put playing two alts for me versus one not only made the game a little more fun for me because there's a lot more going on, but it also made my goals in a lot more like they're more in perspective now. It's not 3,000 hours making a mill now. It's 3,000 hours making, or I'm sorry, 3,000 hours making 3 bill. It's 3,000 hours making 6 bill now. So it's like I took a year and I doubled it now. And if you throw in a third one, which I'm low key, I'm training a third one. Oh, that's not low key anymore, but you can make even more at that point. So that for me has made it a lot more. My goals that I have, my long-term goals, seem a lot closer now because of the money coming in. Like it's all going back to money right now, and I think money on this game is a big key factor in longevity and motivation to get onto the gathering skills for me. So
How about those players that are starting with the gathering skills and they're heading towards 200 mil? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, Paul, don't you talk about the legs? Like, do you want to describe that to people? Like, what the leg is? Like, the three legs.
oh, here we go. This is interesting.
Uh
Listen
oh.
to the 3-leg mentality.
Do you
Listen
want
to
to
this.
talk about the three leg theory, Paul?
So me and NYJ basically came up with the three legs category to I think to show people like what we truly mean about it is basically the first leg is when you do the Bible skills. The second leg is when you do Slayer, because Slayer is a Bible. You know what I mean. Like Slayer is a Bible. Come on,
It
guys, let's
covers your
not.
mealies.
Slayer's a Bible. Slayer's a Bible. But anyways, so the first leg is basically the Bible skills. Second leg, Slayer, and then the third leg, which is going to devalue it over time, anyways, is the gathering skills. So uh, that's why we came up with the three legs because we truly believe
I
it.
guess I guess in broad generalities, it's like the first one's the fast ones, not only the Bibles, but thieving, for example, basically the disposables, and the second one is Slayer, is the melees, and then the third one is the gatherers plus the slow skills.
I mean,
But yeah,
I agree on it, but the second leg as well, you include the mealies and the magic and the range and everything in there as well, right? Like that stuff's like the combats basically. So the first,
yeah,
the
but
first
it's pretty
leg,
broad though. Like obviously, if you have a lot of melees left, then you could
because you could
extend
zero
that
time,
out. You
yeah,
could extend that out to the third leg.
zero time that during gatherings. That's true.
Yeah.
I like to
Plus
get
you have
as
to leave
much use out of
strength.
my third leg as I can. So
You have to utilize strength for fishing as well, for example. But so yeah,
Isn't it
it's a
like
pretty
20
broad.
bucks, man?
It's a pretty broad category, I guess. I don't know, something like that.
I think it's like 20 max, right?
Yeah, it's something like that. But no,
when
that's
did you
just.
guys come? What made you guys come up with that? Like, what were you?
We were
What was
just
the
looking at like
topic?
all. We were looking at all skills in general, like all 23 skills, and we just realized, oh well, there's three different categories for every single skill. They fit into
Exactly.
one of the three, so.
True.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's pretty controversial because there's a lot of guys that do skill like the gatherers first. So, kind of is what it is. It's also controversial because you do Slayer before the gatherers in the three leg theory. So in that theory, I think Slayer would get more devalued over time. I mean, hell, even look what I said about fire making. Like I did fire making, third 200 mil, and that shit
Yeah,
got
I,
devalued
I
from magic logs to Wintertot to
I like the view you
redwoods.
have, but I don't. I won't take part because of the Slayer. Personally, I'll put that off for. That'll be in my third leg. Slayer will be my third
Yeah,
leg.
I understand. Yeah. But the thing is, you utilize like all the combats. You're gonna utilize magic and defense and everything.
True. True.
Like that included all of it.
Is people still going for 200 mil range nowadays? Because I know you created a trend with that, Dave.
Uh,
Some of them, yeah.
I don't know. In hindsight, I don't regret it at all. I enjoyed that.
It was pure DMP.
It was fun. It was DMP and it was a record. Still hold the record. It's been almost a year, surprisingly. But I don't know. I feel like people with a very long-term mentality, in most cases, would not have done what I did. But I was rushing total XP, and I don't know. In my opinion, when I'm gaining total XP, it gives me a more long-term outlook. When I'm gaining as much total XP as I can, it just motivates me more. Even if it isn't efficient, I still do exactly what I feel like doing.
Because at the end of the day, it's a 200 mil, right?
Is there anything
But-
that you guys have done or do now that you feel is hurting your long-term mentality? Like, is anything that you're doing right now making it, unenjoyable by any means as players, or
Should I really answer that?
Why
I
not?
mean,
Why not?
I mean, 200 hours see through and that's BTW
you
is probably
you
the
feel
biggest reason why.
you feel regretful over it?
No, I don't feel regretful, but I feel like that's what slowed me down drastically.
Hmm.
Because then,
what would be your
because
EHP
then I
rank?
could have used the ults, right? I could have used ults. I
Right.
could have NMZ. I could have done all this stuff that would benefit me and would make me use my time wisely.
What would be your EHP rank if you didn't do that? You must
Probably
be like 2 or 3, right?
over.
He'd
Probably
be at
over what 9,000.
he'd be at 10,500 EHP right now.
Yeah,
if
so
he
it's up
didn't
there.
do if he didn't do double natures, he'd be 10.5k EHP, which currently would put him at. I calculated this not long ago, but he'd be rank 5 in EHP right now.
Mhm.
But the thing is, you have to look at what you did for yourself. You made yourself money. You never have to worry about an alt, ever. You have all the money you need. You can play the game how you want to play it. You played it how you wanted to play it. And competitively, if you want to look at long-term competition, you still put in enough time and are gaining on a lot of people that really didn't put in much effort in the time that you were doing double natures. So I don't know, I feel like it was a good decision for you long term.
Well, that's very true because I think that the money wall is very raw and very real, and it really affects a lot of people. I mean, there's some
The
people
money wall.
like there's some people.
You know what I realized with the money wall?
There's some people that are still like comatose though. Like when the shop was gone, like when the shop left, some people just stopped. Like they burnt from making money. Pretty crazy. It's
How
a
much
huge
money
wall.
do you actually need in order to get 200 mil in all the Bible
Oh,
skills
I mean,
nowadays?
I mean,
Like the inefficient,
Are
inefficient
you talking
way.
1-to-1 efficiency?
No. 1-to-1 efficiency is probably what 15 bill or a bit,
Probably
maybe more.
less.
probably 10 to 15 bill, 12 to 15
Yeah.
bill.
How
But
about inefficient?
we're gonna assume now if you go down the DMP route, which a lot of people have
Great
been
chins.
lately. Well, the Great Chins, that's not necessarily something you have to do, but that is 650k ranged for like 2 GB per XP. But the more stable and more repetitive methods that people have been utilizing are battle staves, which is about 4 GP per XP. So you're looking at about 1.2 bill for crafting. You're looking at about 4 GP per XP for smithing with gold. But in my opinion, if you're taking the DMP route, runesmithing is a huge money making period of time. Like during runesmithing, if you play an alt or two, you can make enough money to do crafting, prayer within sold heads. There's a really good 530k an hour prayer method within sold heads. That's about 8 GP per XP. After I finish, I plan to explain a little further into that. But there's if you're going the quote inefficient sort of middle ground methods for skills, you're looking at paying about 8 bill, 7 to 8 bill. If you're going full out efficiency with all the viables, doing like black tea hide bodies, doing mahogany tables, doing bones, which bones are cheaper right now than they were. So I don't disagree with people doing them. I just don't personally like doing bones on an altar. But
I think they might get cheaper when Raids V2 comes out.
Yeah, you're looking at probably 12 bill. I would call it 12 bill to do things efficiently. Probably about 7 to 8 bill. So you're saving 5 bill. Now money is 0 time, as we all know. But in my opinion, you're going to spend another 5,000 hours making money to pay for things that are going to save you. Maybe I think what did we calculated this at one point in YJ? If you do the most efficient methods versus the ensouled heads, the oak dungeon doors, the battle staffs, I think you save about. Well, smithing is a big killer for me right now because I'm getting 200k versus 375k or so, 360k or so. You save about, I'd say probably about 900 hours to 1,000 hours if you do things the most efficiently, but you spend an extra 4,000 hours making the money to do those skills. Now, yes, we said that money is 0 time, but are you going to be able to fish and make that 5 bill during fishing if you're doing alts at the same time when you're trying to be efficient at fishing at the same time? I feel like
think some people have done gatherers and made a lot of money during it, I think.
True.
But it's
That's
not that many, yeah.
I mean, anything that, any way that the person has to go about it, whether they're doing gatherings first, whether they're doing Bibles first, if it's motivating them to stay long term, then that's great. That's perfect for them. But not everybody's going to play the same way. And I feel like if more people kind of find what their niche is, I guess you could call it, if they find that early, they're going to have a lot better journey on this game than if they are kind of not sure of their route, I guess you could say.
I mean, it's huge. I mean, a lot of players will stay lost, throughout their journey to 200 Malal, and I think long term it might hurt. Like, it's certainly gonna maybe hurt their chances, like their percentage chances of getting 200 Malal. But yeah, like it's all about finding your sweet spot, I guess.
It's just
Can
such a
you fund 200 mil all the inefficient way with 200 mil agility while doing Zoro rolls or
if you
any other
do
rolls?
if you do one wyvern ult during agility, these are some numbers that motivate me because I have about a if I don't burn out, if I don't crash my car when I'm doing lavas, if I don't, all these crazy things that could happen. If you do agility with one wyvern ult, me personally doing two, you got about 2,800 hours, making about 2 mil an hour, nearly 2 mil an hour. That's 6 bill right there. Half of runesmithing at that point can pay for the rest of your Bibles at that point. If you do agility and you do runesmithing, you can pay for 200 mil all by playing two wyvern alts. If you do agility, runesmithing, and then you do, say, some melee based slayer, if that's what you're into, it could be a method that you could use to make money during doing serb, for example. I know it's, if a person plays an alt, you're usually advised not to do serb. You're advised to just barrage the most efficiently. But what I'm saying is, you could do the middle ground viable methods. You could have the money to do them while doing, just from doing agility and runesmithing. So that's, if anybody's worried about money out there, there's two very, very laid back, and I mean, runesmithing's half efficient now. Agility's 0.8 EHP an hour. You're sacrificing about 3.5 months of, or I call it 4 months of time to do runesmithing and agility to make your money, like doing arty, but you're making all the money for your viables at that point in a way that's, it's not as efficient, but it's pretty efficient at that point. And if you notice, I haven't even mentioned Hunter. Hunter's another. If you do black chins, you're making nearly 2 bill. If you do red chins, you're making over 1.3 bill. So there's a lot of ways to make your money. I feel like the money aspect of this game is not the thing to worry about as much as, once you get to your gathering them all, because everybody inevitably gets to that point, and if they're not ready to go hard, I don't know how long term they are at that point.
Well, I think it's what you said about, finding your sweet spot, because I think that, a lot of guys want to go 100% on alts. Like, they want to do Zolra, they want to do all these things that gets the most amount of money as possible. But, I mean, as you laid out, doing runesmithing and doing two wyvern alts, like, that's a possibility. And if people don't really enjoy doing Zolra, then that could be an option, but I think that
I mean,
some people have
the
a
money
bad
will come.
complex with that.
The money will come.
That's what I hear, yeah, that's what they say.
It's if that's the belief that they have, if that's what's motivating them, if they're taking proactive steps and earning money while doing their skills how they are choosing to, then that's a perfectly reasonable
But
mentality
what if they
to
do
have.
nothing? What if they do nothing but say the money will come?
If
That's a
people
good
aren't,
question.
I mean, if somebody has the outlook, if they have a long-term outlook, then they'll know that they'll be able to make the money at some point,
Yeah.
because everybody knows that there's a lot of ways to make money, that there's no cut and dry method to play this game. It's not black and white. Like, you could say that about a lot of other games where you can write up a cheat sheet, basically, like, here's what you do here, here's what you do there, blah blah blah. You can't write a script. You can't write like, here's how you get 200 mil all, blah 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 blah. You could theorize it. You can make spreadsheets. You can do this. You can do that. But you bring me a person that's going to be able to guarantee the next 18,000 hours of their lives, and I'll shake their hands, because there's no way that any of us can gauge how long we'll be able to play, or if we'll burn out or if we won't burn out. But if you're taking proactive steps to keep the game enjoyable for you, then you definitely have a better chance of getting a lot further, if not all the way, than, like I said, somebody who's not taking those proactive steps early on. So
How about those that has extra 4 years of college, which is basically guaranteed 4 years? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
what's my thoughts on people that go to college for 4 years and play?
Yeah, because they have those years guaranteed that they're going to be playing the game. Because I don't see like anything changing for those that goes to college, unless if they make a change, but they shouldn't if they going to college. Like, I don't see them like having
I mean,
girlfriends or a wife or
the,
getting married. I
the
feel like
thing
they're
is,
gonna be focusing on college.
Yeah,
to
uni
keep
starts soon, so no.
this opinion is not very well received in the more socially accepted people that are out there on this game who have social lives and girlfriends and friends and things like that, and, relationships with their families.
That's funny.
But in my opinion, a game like this, it's I have to sacrifice, and I willingly do it because I enjoy my routine. But you have to sacrifice a lot of things to put in time, and like going out with friends on a Friday night and not playing is not longevity, in my opinion. If you're willing to just not even play to go out with your friends, then I don't know how long term that person really could be seen as. But if that makes them enjoy coming home Saturday morning, jumping on and playing all day, then that's great. But I feel like a lot of people, like especially like we were saying, people in college, they make friends, they get sidetracked with their IRL obligations, which is that's perfectly respectable. If a person has obligations and they don't want to play, that's perfectly respectable. But a lot of people out there with a lot of obligations, they still try to keep a long-term outlook on the game, and I feel like you make it harder when you add on more IRL obligations. We're talking about the game right now. We're not talking about your social calendar. The less your social calendar has going on, the more obligation or the more in-game time you're going to be able to dedicate at that point. So
So are you saying that e-dating's efficient?
I'm saying that e-dating is 1-to-1
It could
EHP.
be. It could be. Unless if
As long as you
uh,
don't plan to meet.
unless if you're taking your PP out and XP wasting, but
I
if you're
mean,
just talking to them, then I guess it's efficient.
I mean, it is what it is. For me personally, I don't get along with people. I don't like making friends. I feel like people are fake. So I just try to stay to myself and play the game. But if, like I said, if it helps somebody stay motivated because they have a good balance in life, I guess that would be the word, having a good balance. I'm just not personally able to balance friends, girlfriends, and playing. It's go to work, play on my phone, come home, play at the computer, repeat. That's my long-term strategy, is to just dedicate my free time to the game. And having friends isn't a category in there for me.
Unless if it's RuneScape friends, right?
Yeah, you can have buddies on RuneScape as long as they are positive motivation for you. Like if you're associating yourself with people who are dragging you down and putting you down, then you're definitely not gonna get very far. But if you can find a good clan to be a part of, like personally, we're all in Omnia, and Omnia has been great. It's a really nice environment and very motivating. But also, keeping your friends close, keeping your sort of competition closer has been a strategy that I've seen used a lot on this game, which I think it's great because it's, at the end of the day, it's all in good fun, in my opinion. People in other clans, we meme around and we have a good time with each other. But it's like I feel like the people that have too many friends, people that have like too many people let into to their circle, I guess you could call it. I feel like they're the ones that kind of get persuaded by others. And if you're letting your goals be persuaded by other people, then I don't know how big my outlook on you is at that point. If you can't stick to your guns, I guess you could call it, then I don't really know at that point. What
Well,
about you guys? Do you think being in a clan has given you longevity as a player? Do you think it really matters to you that much?
well, yeah, like I really like the ranking system. Like shout out to God Tormentor, finally got top 30 EHP. But like some things like that, like the ranking system, it helps you, keep going on to try to stay top 30, for example. So it's just simple things like that. But also, yeah, being in the environment, having the same, opinions, and because every clan's different. Like Hexus has the moral non-alt users. Omnia has the DMP guys. I mean, each clan has something, and just being around that similar mindset really helps as well.
I feel like I envy how close Solus is with each other. They're so close and friendly like to each other, and they have like a really strong, motivated group. I envy that, and
They even do the
they're
same skills as
dangerous.
each other.
They're dangerous competitively. They are very dangerous competitively because though you will get bullied if you burn out when you're in Solus. Like if you're not sticking to your shit and you're not motivated, it's like a pack of wolves at that point, and you don't want to fuck with it. But like you said, like you have Hexus and they have their sort of moral high ground, which that's great. Hexus is also putting in less averages than Omnia and Solus. Like not that we're trying to talk shit or anything. I have my respect for all the skilling clans, but I feel like when you set yourself goals, whether it's with other people involved with them or not, as long as you remember at the end of the day that you're the one playing your account, not your buddy who's doing the same skill as you. I personally, when I quit back in the beginning of the summer, I was ranked 22. I was on my way to like top 15, but my goals and my things that I had going on in game were really just not. There was no longevity. I was staking. I was demotivated. I was, it just wasn't a good headspace to be in, and I had to kind of take a step back and reassess my views on the game. And when I decided to come back to the game, I kept the same mentality, as in I'll do exactly what I want to do. I won't let other people influence me, but I started letting more people in, if that makes sense. Like I started being more active in the community, and being more talkative on voice chats and shit like that. And I recently made a Twitter, which has been eventful so far.
Yeah, you
But,
you you have 400 tweets in 4 days.
yeah, I've been like a 13-year-old schoolgirl on there, and it's been great. But no, I'm using it. I feel like Twitter. I feel like there's longevity as a player in the social media aspects of this game, because you can promote your content. You can dick around with your friends. Like I never looked at it the way I've been looking at it recently, which is it's more than just like a lot of people see it as just toxicity, which there is a lot of toxicity out there on Twitter, but there's also it's a great platform to sort of motivate your friends, if you will, like making funny memes and shit like that, or you're retweeting your friends that are going for a goal, and you can kind of, if they get their achievement, you can retweet it, you give them notoriety, or like tonight promoting our ramble, stuff like that. Like I feel like social media for this game particularly is great when it comes to the longevity as a player.
Yeah, I feel like it helps too. Like it just it expands. I think social media is something
Well,
that
yeah, I
is
mean,
necessary, especially nowadays.
yeah, it's not just Twitter. It's Twitch, obviously, a few others platforms. Some people have RuneScape MySpaces as well, which is pretty crazy.
And putting yourself out there gets new players interested, because nowadays it's so easy to for people to start out with the efficiency mindset, because there's so many videos out there. But I feel like they also need to do it. And how do you do it? By engaging with the people that have been here for a while. So I think being a clan definitely helps to not only promote yourself as you becoming a better player in this game, but also it helps you also get your own clan out there by using social media. So
My view when I left the game back in June was that the way to stay a motivated player, the way to keep was to keep to yourself completely. I stopped talking to people. I stopped going on TeamSpeaks. I didn't. Twitter was a no-no for me. There was no way I was gonna make a Twitter. There was no way I was gonna go on videos. There was no way I was gonna stream. My mentality was that you're playing the game by yourself anyway. You might as well stay to yourself anyway. And I feel like it's not only a very depressing way to go about things, but it's also, it eventually gets kind of boring and self-centered. And if you can use your time while you're playing to try to help motivate your peers in a way, like your clan members or people in the community, maybe up and coming players, for example, if you can do something that motivates one person, I feel like at that point you're doing something right. Like, we did the first ramble video last weekend and we got over 500 views. We had a lot of great feedback. We had a lot of bad feedback as well. And people saying that I need to shut up, I talk too much, blah blah blah. That's great, I appreciate that. You're watching a ramble video and you're telling the guy who's rambling that he talks too much. You're fucking perfect. But anyway, when it comes to having people come up to me and say, dude, you motivated me, wow, like you guys need to do more of those, it was like at that point something clicked in my head. I was like, wait, this isn't all about just me. There's more to it than I can do at that point, so making the videos and hopefully streaming down the line is definitely something that I've started thinking more about a lot recently. What did you like when you started streaming at first, Paul? Was it something that motivated you to get to the point you're at now, or was it just something you did because you were bored?
I think it was. I was looking at it in a way where I enjoy building stuff. Like the same thing that happens in real life when I was working. I enjoyed saving money. I enjoyed going to work and knowing that I didn't skip a single day. So I think with streaming, what I was looking at it was to meet new people and get the channel to grow. And I think that's what got me into streaming. It's just seeing it something starting from absolutely zero and just work my way up.
So you wanted to
Uh,
help motivate people.
I think that was one of the things that I was going to provide regardless. So I think the main reason why was just like was to see the channel growing by using those things as you just mentioned, like helping people to
Right.
get inside of people that use their time wisely and achieve whatever they want to achieve. Like I feel like I don't accept when people say that they can't do something because they're basically training themselves to not do it before they even started. Like quitting before you even started. So
That's a
I feel
big
like streaming is something that shows them if I can do it, if a pleb like me can do it, anybody can do it. You know what I mean? So I think streaming was something that is really putting myself out there and just to show people that whatever it doesn't matter what you want to achieve.
I,
It's achievable as long as you believe in it. So never tell
I,
yourself,
I
no, I can't do that.
I feel like a lot of people, the more casual players, a lot of them, they spend long hours playing the game. Many of them, like when I was crafting, I had some time off work, so I was doing like 18 hours a day of crafting. I saw some of the same people in the GE just standing around, asking for money, wondering, asking for help, asking for methods to do things, so on, so on. What if one of them would be able to watch some motivating content or some helpful content, and that would put them on a path towards, you know, towards putting in more gains at that point? Because there's a lot of players who give up when they can't figure out what they need to do next, skilling wise. That is, there's a lot of skillers who give up on skilling, I feel like, because they don't know which direction to take.
Exactly.
And a lot of skilling content nowadays, it's turning towards, it's becoming, skilling's almost becoming like the niche market, well, it already is. And these big skilling streamers are turning to more PVM based content because that's what their viewers want to see. And in my opinion, that they're just becoming sheep at that point if they're just doing what the other people want them to do rather than keeping to what they enjoyed at first, which was skilling. I feel like skilling streaming, like, not that I don't respect what people do to keep their viewers satisfied. I feel like at that point it's kind of a job to them, so that's why they do what they need to do. But I feel like skilling streams, if they're motivating and helpful to people, I feel like that's something that will really help the longevity as in a whole, really, for like the skilling community is if there's more skilling streams and content based around it.
Because if you think about it, the name of the game is skilling, right? Skilling is the name of the game. So I feel
For,
like
for
skilling should
us,
be
for
prioritized.
not for
But
everybody.
I also enjoy the skilling community players. You know why? Because they're the ones that keeps us alive. So think about it. Twitch is all about PVM stuff. You know what I mean? Like pet
Yeah.
hunting, PVM content. But I feel like the community that we have, I think it's more than enough to make us grow throughout the years. To be honest, so like I said before, you know, we can start very
I
small
mean,
and just expand with time.
I'd rather be one of the people who I could say this right now confidently that I'm a skiller. I train skills. I don't PVM. I did PVM content back in the day. I PK'd back in the day. I don't enjoy it anymore. The only content I could see myself producing is skilling content only. And I don't care if 10 people want to watch it or if 500 people want to watch it. I'm going to do what I like to do. I'm going to enjoy the game. If people want to, if people want to enjoy the content along with me, that's great. If not, I'm not gonna change what I do for anybody. But I feel like your streams are very helpful to a lot of people because you keep it skilling only, and it's found motivating by people. So I respect that a lot.
I'm glad that there's PK and PVM streams out there because it makes skilling more unique. So people will, I think people will eventually will start looking towards other things to do, such as skilling the game other than PVM and PK. So I truly appreciate people that stream PVM and PK stuff out there
For
because
sure.
new players they always searching for something else, like for something that, for example, I get a lot of people in the stream saying, hey Paul, 99 strength was my first 99 ever. I never had it in RS3 or previous RuneScape games. So I
Right.
think people just need to, like, they just need to get it what skilling truly means, and I feel like along the line they will eventually.
Well, I
So
think a lot of like streaming and skilling and stuff like that, like a lot of that's basically about the free market per se. You know, like I mean, it's a common fact that skilling streams get less viewers, and you know that's a big portion of why people stream is to get viewers. You know, as bad as it sounds, there's enough streamers out there that want to do that, and I think that you know streaming skilling puts you at the bottom, and if they're trying to make money in real life, that's not going to help. So like
It's
if they start streaming, you know, PVM and stuff, then it helps with that. So that's a big reason. Is because of the free market that pretty much makes it go in that direction, the PVM direction.
I mean,
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like
I'm
that's just the nature of it.
personally, as a player, I'm a couple weeks off top page again, and the content that I plan to take part in, these ramble videos, potentially streaming down the line if there's enough of a, if there's enough of a following that they want to hear my opinions and stuff like that, then I could see myself streaming things down the line. But I just couldn't see myself doing anything even if it was bringing me money, because I make enough money from my job, my bills are paid. This game for me and everything I do with this game is just like a hobby, like a side effort at that point. Some extra spending cash would be great, but I wouldn't change the things that I do in game because it would push off my inevitable goal, which for me my goal is 200 mil all. So I feel like I feel like streaming, video making, stuff like that. If you keep it all into what you're enjoying, then you're giving yourself longevity with the added bonus of an audience at that point, which I've found since doing these videos that the time passes a lot faster with an audience. I used to play in a band. We used to play out live, and a 45-minute set would go by and like 15, it felt like 15 seconds went by and the whole set was over and we were off stage and it was great. And doing these videos and these streams, I find it to be the same principles applied. Like when I'm playing, an hour has just gone by and it feels like we've been talking for 5 minutes. And, I could see it definitely being addicting to get onto a platform and put out content for people.
Yeah. I think I'm addicted at this point to streaming because
Yeah.
like sometimes I just can't wait to stream, and I think the only people I should blame is the viewers. Like they the one that makes me addicted to it.
Well, it's kind of like a habit for you now, though. Kind of like sleeping 4.5 hours. Like that's just a habit that you have.
Yeah.
So you would say that the streaming has given you more longevity at this point. Like
I feel like streaming is cheating. It's cheating because, like you said, it's like sometimes I stream like 6-7 hours, and I'm like, wait, we're done, we're over. Like I start making complaints to myself, like what happened? So I think streaming is a really good time killer.
I think it's a performance aspect. I look at it as an adrenaline release, like an endorphin release. When you know people, like it's the same reason why girls get on camera naked at night. Not to get graphic, but it's the same principles apply. You're putting yourself out there. You're receiving feedback. You feel people giving you attention. You enjoy the attention, and your adrenaline kicks in. And once your adrenaline kicks in, it's almost as if you're putting on a show. I mean, if you're being yourself and you're putting content out there that's not forced content, I guess you could say, because it seems like a lot of people turn fake when they start putting out content. They say things to please everybody. I feel like you crush yourself when you start changing yourself for other people. You make it a lot harder to stick to your goals because you're selling out, basically. Like you're changing your entire mentality at that point, and you're going to start losing your interest in the game, and you're going to start focusing more on, what's everybody thinking about me today? And I don't ever want to see myself be somebody that's going to do things just because what's this guy going to think of me if I say this, or what's that guy going to. I want to say exactly what I want to say, and if people don't agree with it, they have the right to leave. They have the right to talk shit if they want to. They can do whatever they like. But I'm definitely finding over the past couple of weeks that for me, I've found like a whole new outlook on, making content, and it's the longevity for me personally that is coming with making the content. So,
do you think Twitter helps with that?
Twitter has been a blast.
Yeah, you seem to be having fun on there.
My memes, I have some good memes. I have some bad memes. I'm learning, but I find it very addicting. I find it very addicting.
I mean, your memes were good enough to have Randy follow you.
I got a follow from Randy on my second day on Twitter. That was pretty exciting. I don't know. Twitter is just something on the side, and it's something to keep connected with my clan and with my friends in other clans, and it's great. It's a nice way to share information quickly. You can get a laugh out of a lot of the things that a lot of people are saying on there is pretty funny. I mean, there's a lot of drama, of course, which drama can be a demotivator for a lot of people, but you can't take it too seriously, in my opinion.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
I mean,
well, yeah, what goes on Twitter stays on Twitter. I mean,
that's how it should be.
People agreed with that when I tweeted that out, because it's pretty true. Like, most people know now that it's just there to bullshit around. People get bored. If people skill for thousands of hours, they get bored. They tweet shit. The cycle continues.
If you're going on Twitter with intentions to find all straight-laced, cookie cutter conversations and proper English, and you're at the wrong place. There's going to be some trolling. There's going to be you could be the man at 1 minute, you make one bad meme and everybody fucking hates you for the rest of the night. You know what I mean? And it can get, if you have a soft shell, you're definitely going to get bullied on Twitter. I found, so, like, you have to post something with full intentions on humor. You got to keep it humorous. You got to keep it. If you're doing things to attack people, you're gonna get picked on. You're gonna get picked at, and at the end of the day, you're just being toxic. And I feel like there's a good there's an easy way to distinguish between that, and I don't feel like it's a good thing when people take it to a toxic level. I feel like down the line you're going to regret a lot of the things that they say on there, because once you post something, it's on there forever, and when feelings start getting hurt, it's not cool to be putting people down. And that's not a way that you don't want to build yourself based on hatred. Like, I feel like a lot of people, they build their platform based on being hateful and putting people down and bullying people, and I don't agree with that at all. I don't follow people like that. I unfollowed a couple people like that, and I'll continue to stay to the keep it fun, keep it enjoyable content type of mentality. Hopefully it stays long term.
Do you guys think that Twitter helps with playing this game for as a long term? Like, would you use Twitter as something to keep you playing the game?
It's not why I play at all. If I didn't have you guys, if I didn't have Twitter, if I didn't have Omnia, I'd still be playing this game, because it's what keeps my autistic brain, enticed when I get out of work at night, and lets me stay to my goals and save my money IRL. Because if everybody out there who works and plays this game, they know that you're able to save a lot of fucking money when you're not spending it on random things. But no, I think Twitter's not going to be the reason why I play long term, but it's going to help keep me more active and in the community long term, for sure.
Yeah, I don't really see it as much. I mean, I've been on and off it, but I guess back in the day when I was making memes, it did affect, because it took me a while to make the memes. But no, for the most part, it's just there for something to do on the side. Like, it's neither hurts or helps.
I think it helps with the clan.
Oh
Big
yeah,
thing.
well, with advertising, yes, I agree.
It's amazing. You tweet something out, 20 people see it. They like it. They whatever. When it comes to promotion for a video or for content, if somebody, like I said earlier, if somebody gets an achievement, you can promote their achievements, and it's just a great way to keep people connected, in my opinion.
Yeah. Plus, people enjoy smiling, so somebody got to do it. Somebody out there
Making
got to do
people
it.
laugh is important, because we're all going to be here for a very long time. Most of us, if we have the outlooks that a lot of us have, especially in the higher level community of the game, the top 100, top 250, the high level skilling clans, we all at the end of the day, we may be training different skills first, but we all sort of have the same mentality of playing the game long term, keeping a routine. And if you can stick to your routine and have fun at the same time, then I think that's great.
As a viewer as like a viewer point of view, I feel like they would love to ask you guys, what's your schedule, like what happened to you guys on the daily basis when you get to put the hours into the game.
I go to bed at midnight. I get up at 6 a.m. I turn my computer on. I put myself in nightmare zone. I'm to work by 7. I work till 5. I'm home by 6. I play till midnight. I repeat. Saturdays and Sundays, I play like 12 to 15 hours a day. And
do you phone zone while taking a break at work, or?
I phone zone 10 hours a day, 10 to 12 hours a day, and then I play 6 hours a night.
How about you, Anna? Do you phone zone while in college?
I just started within the last 4 or 5 months. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
And how's that been treating you?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty nice. Like, it helped me I'm gonna get 1.3 bill XP for the current year, so I think it's really helped with that. Like, I'm pretty sure at least 100 plus mil XP was affected because of that. So yeah, it's certainly helped, and it's helping me get closer to rank 6 overall as well. Just simply because of phone zoning, so I don't know. I feel like it certainly helps. And
what kind of skills are you guys looking forward to training on your phone in the future?
Yeah, like the big fish pretty much will be woodcutting. That's the one skill I'm really looking at, because with mobile, if it's really easy, that's just something that I can do for the rest of college, and I can get over halfway to 200 mil in woodcutting. So I would hope to do that. But
Woodcutting.
that's the thing though. Like it's one of those things where, it might be shoddy. Like it might be hard sometimes if I'm really busy, or it might be easy. Like I guess we'll have to wait and see, right? I feel like it's possible, especially
I
with
can't
mobile.
wait.
Like with mobile, it's gonna be a lot smoother than remote desktop. So I'm looking forward to it.
More consistent.
I can't wait to. At this point, it's a personal achievement for me, but I'm 200 mil attack, hit points, ranged, and I'm about 3 weeks from finishing strength. I want to finish all my mealees 0 time, just because I enjoy gaining that XP at work. It's what's kept me thinking long term, is being able to phone zone. But as you asked a bit ago, what do we plan on doing? I plan on doing redwoods. Me and NYJ are going to be doing some redwood action. We're gonna kind of compete, hopefully, because we're gonna start
Well,
around the same time.
it's the way to crush the gathering wall. I mean,
If
it's
I
what you
mean,
got to do.
it's gonna be. I'm assuming 60k XP an hour or so, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. But for me personally, I work 50 hours a week, so that's 50 hours of time that I could be doing redwoods a week, as well as my in-game time. So it's gonna add. It's gonna add up nicely. And after I finish woodcutting, I could do maybe fishing or something. I don't know. You add a lot of depth to the game when you start 0 timing things, and with mobile, we keep promoting mobile for everybody, but it's definitely put a lot of longevity in my mind for me, is the mobile scape with the woodcutting.
I just had a face reaction, guys,
Uh-oh.
because I got 3 dag tasks back to back. So I was just reacting to it.
Reacting. I didn't see.
Yeah,
What
man.
was it scary?
It was kind of awesome.
We lost like 5 viewers. It must have been.
Probably me scaring them.
Are you on another Dax task? I'm not really
Yeah.
watching the stream. I'm just kind of doing my thing. But it seems to me like you've been on the Dax task since we started.
Yeah, 3 times in a row, brother.
Holy shit! Wow.
You bet that secret
And
method?
did they do something with dags? Because I've been getting so many seeds. Is this normal? Like,
I think it's that
But-
secret. I think it's that secret method you do off stream. You barrage the Dagonoths. It's a very secret method.
Oh my god! Don't leak it.
NYJ,
Oh
what are
wow,
you doing,
sorry.
man?
Why are you leaking it? Yeah, we're gonna have to change hosts the next Ramble video next weekend. So if anybody out there wants to be a part of that, we're gonna take applications for our new host, because NYJ can't keep his fucking mouth shut.
Whoops.
So no. What else? So we discussed obligations in the game.
Talk about like
Just-
sleeping. Like
What
So I
about
know- I know-
What about
sleeping's huge.
Oh,
Some people.
sleeping slash
I was gonna
awake
say-
ratio.
I was gonna say, because there's a lot of people that
Yeah.
sleep 4 hours a night that play this game competitively, and there's some people that sleep
Yes.
12 hours. Like that's an 8-hour difference each day. Like that's huge.
the 6 hours off, 18 hours on mentality? Your body needs to keep a healthy immune system. My PCP, my primary care physician, I work in a hospital. I do regular checkups every couple of months. He recommended to me, and he told me that a healthy 6 hours a night is a healthy way to keep a good digestive system, a good immune system, and a general good state of mentality. If you start pushing your sleep over 8-9 hours, so on and so forth, you're overkilling it at that point. So for me, I like to keep it 6 hours of sleep, 18 hours awake. So that's about 18 hours a day of overall account progress, which adds up nicely. It really does. But the thing is, I'm tired a lot of the time, but I have this belief in the fact that there's going to come a time down the line where I don't even play this game. So at that point, I can sleep all I want, in my opinion, unless I have kids or a family.
That's going back. That's going back to the topic we mentioned earlier about it's a privilege to be playing this game right now. So I don't think we
No,
should
it
be
definitely
focusing on
is.
being tired. Like, come on, we're young, man. We're less than what 30 years of age. I might be a little bit more,
I'm
but
23.
yeah. So I feel like since this game is a privilege, we should not worry about how much we sleep whatsoever. But then again, 6 hours seems like very reasonable because you go through all the sleeping cycles necessary to keep you
I'm
going.
able to work 10-hour days with an hour commute both ways, and I'm still motivated and awake to play for 6 or 7 hours each night. Um, for me personally, it works, but there are times when I'm tired. There's times when I wish I could just sleep, and I know people out there thinking, well, why don't you just sleep? But the game, it's a very addicting game, and everybody can probably relate when I'm sure I'm not alone right now
Well,
that there's people out there that have sacrificed a couple hours of sleep here and there to play this game.
well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Paul wants to talk about this, but we talked about the. It's called the 5 minute theory. Like basically, like we talk about. Think of when you're gonna get 200 mil in the skill that you're training. Well, if you wasted 5 minutes of sleeping, then you could have got it 5 minutes earlier than when you did get the 200 mil. So this is
I
something
mean,
I taught. This is something I taught Paul. It's like you want to spend every single second as hard as you can. Like I know that it's impossible to do. Obviously, it's impossible to do, but working
Takes
towards
time.
that,
think
working
it.
towards that can help save time
Okay,
over
well, you
time.
want to talk about 5 minutes a day for a year, for example. That's 18,
Yeah,
25
that,
minutes
that
a
that's
year.
that's
Listen
where
to
that's where
this.
it derived from. Yes.
Listen to this. 5 minutes a day extra is 30 hours a year. That's a lot of people's
Yeah.
average weekly EHP. 30 hours a year. If you play an extra 5 minutes a day, you're putting 30 hours a year. This, if you look at the game long term, if you look at hours, if you look at minutes even, a lot of shit can add up. A lot of time can add up. I'm a huge believer in, giving your body the sleep that it needs, nothing more, nothing less, because at that point you're not gaining anything when you're sleeping. In my opinion, we're gonna be dead one day. We could sleep all we want. Something I've been told is when I was growing up from my older relatives, that, oh yeah, you shouldn't waste your time sleeping. Do a lot of that when you're blah 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 blah. But for me personally, I've found that cutting sleep has made the gains a lot fatter for me, and I also get a lot more done IRL. I'm able to work a lot of overtime, and I'm still able to play a lot of hours. And it's a big factor. Sleep is a big factor, and the lack
Very
thereof it.
important. Very important. I wanted to tell people. I want to share with people this. I think there's some people out there wondering, especially like casual players. Like, what are you guys thinking that makes you, put yourself through this every single day? Like, what a like? Is there any reason behind it? And from going back to when I got my first 99 back then, the way I was feeling is I think everybody's gonna relate to this and understand is that just picture yourself getting 99 tomorrow and you have to wake up really early before you go to school. So that's the feeling that I go through every single day when I'm gonna play this game. So every time I think about playing this game tomorrow is the same feeling. It's almost like tomorrow I'm gonna get a 99, and that's what I keep thinking over and over again every day. It
Well,
just keeps resetting.
if you look forward to the day coming, that like the goals ahead, then it's definitely motivating to play. But I feel like a lot of players, I don't know if it's just the way they think on every aspect of life, but it seems like they have a very short-term outlook, and it's hard to play this game long term if you have a short-term outlook, because it is a very long-term process. And as you said, you see every day as a new challenge, as a new,
A
basically,
celebration,
a
actually, celebration.
celebration for you
Yeah,
personally. That's
yeah,
a good way to look at it.
yeah.
Um,
It
we're
keeps you
getting
going.
we're getting up to about an hour and a half here. Um, wanted to ask some people in the chat if there's any sort of questions that they have specifically that they'd like to ask at this point. That'd be
I don't
cool.
have the chat open right now, but if you guys do, then I would
Um,
appreciate that if anybody asks anything.
Omar Twitch asks, "Can you guys talk about how to unburn?" Well, you just have to find goals, mate. You know, just find some goals and stick to
Oh,
them.
Yeah, I would say do what you want to do and not what other people want you to do or what seems to be impressive, you know, just do what you want to do.
What's your IQ? Ask Jez RS. I don't know, dude. I really don't know.
I wanna answer to Omar. How to unburn. I feel like when you're doing really good at this game, then you have that momentum. So I think the moment you start understanding about momentum is when you're gonna finally realize that you can never feel bad anymore about yourself because you just burned out because you're always going to be focusing on that momentum. So I think focus on the days that is ahead of you. So try to do good starting today and then tomorrow, then after tomorrow, and then maybe in a couple of days you feel like you have a momentum and then you can go from there. It's almost like falling off the wagon, and then usually people just stay there and see the wagon fading away right in front of their eyes. But personally, if I fall off the wagon, then I'll get up. I'll make sure that I clean myself, and then I'll just keep jogging till I hop on the wagon again, and then that's when you gain the momentum. So when you're doing good, everybody does well, right? So, but how about when you do bad? Do you do well when you do bad? That's the question I always ask myself.
I
If I'm
leave
doing
the
good,
game when I'm doing
everything is
bad.
nice and flowy, right? But I think you should focus on when you're doing bad. I think that skill is something that I think not only me but everybody should improve on, is focusing on your bad days.
So
And
when
I
you're
think you
demotivated,
don't
finding
unburden.
so what you're saying is when you're demotivated, finding ways to keep yourself motivated. Like you're not having a good day, but you're finding the ground to stand on for that day, basically.
Focus on the momentum that you're gonna have in a couple of days from now if you keep doing what you're doing. So whenever you're doing bad, you're always gonna remember about the momentum. Oh, so I need to get in the momentum. Right now I'm doing bad, but when I get into a momentum, then I'm gonna start doing good. So you become into a realization that you never have a bad day. You only do if you want to, but if you don't want to, then you'll never have a bad day because you always can rely on momentum.
Will you guys get 200 mil all on RS3 on the same account name? Only takes like 7,000 hours. I don't personally enjoy the mechanics of RS3. It's just not the game for me. What about you, MIJ?
Oh, I'm almost maxed on RS3, so I probably just go for max again, because I think that invention still came out, and I still have to do 99 farming. So I'll probably just get that on this account in RS3. That's it though, nothing more.
What about you, Paul? RS3.
I never played RS3, so I don't know anything about it. So with that being said, I don't think I would play RS3, especially not like know anything about it. I feel like it would be hard for me, to be
Right.
honest. Yeah.
Kaifu asked, discuss this. Well, he states, discuss the skills you're each looking forward to and not looking forward to. Personally, I'm not looking forward to con. I don't like con, but I'm looking forward to fishing and mining because they're a challenge, and I haven't really challenged myself on this game thus far. I mean, I've done 99 in those skills, but that's just the tip of the iceberg in my opinion. MIJ?
I'm probably looking forward to fishing and herbalore, and I'm not looking forward to agility. I
Why is that?
I've never liked it. I don't know. It
What?
was agility was always like my last 99. I think I have the second least XP in agility on the top page. I don't know, but I'll do it. I mean, it's really easy, luckily, so that's the good thing about it.
It's so nice.
Just I never understood the like what an agi break is. Doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever.
Just putting on a good mix and doing agi with some alts going is like it's life basically. Um,
To
what's
me, personally, I think the skill that I'm looking forward the most is mining, and the least that I'm looking forward to is whatever's last, because that's when I'll feel sad that it's over.
your last skill?
Yeah, it's like the last one, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. What's your guys' prediction, right?
I mean,
So
You did 200 mil with Nats, so I don't really see what would be a challenge to you after that, honestly.
I feel like I'm the only player on this game that should never complain about anything. Like everything should be good.
It's a good question came in. Do we ever PK or boss? I personally do some bossing on my alts while I'm playing my main. I'll do raids here and there. I'll do some corp. PKing, I used to call wars in a clan, and I did some singles PKing and some multi PKing. But I don't.
Shout out to Venenatis.
Shout out to Vanguard.
Oh yeah.
What about you, MYJ? Do any PVMing, PKing?
I might in the future after 200 Malal. If there's a bossing high scores, that might be something to look into. But I don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
I love watching frame PKing videos. Keep them coming. I really enjoy. Personally, I don't do it. I did it in within the first month when I started playing, and I got whooped 3 times in a row. Darrock PKing, and I couldn't understand like what's happening here. And that's when I realized that this mechanism into PKing, like people know how to they know what exactly time they should be using in vengeance, and they know when to hit. They know when to not hit when the other person is on venge. So I find that very interesting, and I give a lot of props to PKers because you definitely got to be skilled in order to.
There is a lot to PKing.
Definitely, yeah.
Right,
and that's what makes me watch videos about it.
We got. What mining method would you be looking forward to in that case? I'm assuming Paul. What mining method are you looking forward to utilizing?
Definitely 4G method, regardless if I do good or bad.
Cool. Any more questions, guys, relevant to the long-term outlook on the game? Any sort of things you want answered? And now's the time to ask them. We got about another half hour or so here. So if there's anything else you guys want to have brought up, we would enjoy answering.
What's the furthest above EHP method? I think underwater fishing's a lot right now, but that might get changed.
How much XP is that?
It's 1.2 EHP or something like that.
Wow. How about the new agility underwater thingy that they were mentioning?
Well, I think that's what it is.
67K?
I think that's what it is. They just they might just change it around a little bit. I'm not too sure.
Did they confirm it that it's 67K an hour?
Yeah, I think so.
A good question in the chat. This is something that a lot of casual players, a lot of sort of players who are up and coming ask and wonder as if we'll look back one day and we'll regret the time that we spent playing. I don't really think I would. When I wasn't playing this, I was playing music and I was doing a lot of drugs and shit, and I don't know, would I regret that long term, or will I regret playing a game that's keeping me motivated to go to work each day and stay sober so that I can stay up later and play longer? I don't think it's a waste of time if I'm enjoying it, but it's case by case, I guess you could say. If a person does something and they feel like they could have been doing something else, then I guess at that point then they wasted their time. But if they're enjoying it, then I don't think it's a waste of time. So personally, no, I don't think I'll see this as a waste of time.
Yeah, you can't really answer that until you get 200 Malal.
Personally, like I said before, I think it's a privilege to be playing this game right now.
Yeah, but do you think you'll regret it, was the question. Long term, do you think you'll look
regretting
back
it? No. Since it's a privilege, no regression whatsoever. I can see where people are coming from with that. Because imagine what could you do in 5 to 7 years from now, right? You could become a doctor. You could finish school. You could be getting $100,000 a year. You could be But the thing is, I think living out of regression is something bad. Like you personally, you train yourself to also go towards that in real life. Because I think this game is no different than having a job. Is no different than Like it's no different than anything in life because you can also regret in things that you do in life. Like for example, you mentioned something about drugs, right? Like don't you regret like using drugs from the
Uh,
past 2 years back in
it's a
the day?
lot of.
Like for
It
example.
was. It was. It was in the tens of thousands of dollars spent, and for what? For a quick release of endorphins and regret later on. That's
Yeah.
something, but
But it goes
that's
back to what? It goes back to what? To the
drinking.
same thing. See?
Drinking and alcoholism is a very common addiction among guys our age, and yet it's perfectly seen as perfectly normal.
Yeah,
Yet,
that's
if you
what
if you
society has set.
if you spend a lot of time on a video game, you're seen as you're an outcast. You're not deemed socially acceptable, but I feel like as time goes on, especially within the next generation, video gaming and competitive gaming and streaming and video making, it's going to be like the norm, the social norm, in my opinion. There's going to be more people turning to video games than drugs. Hopefully, I mean that would be that would be a hopeful thought. But I feel like a lot of people turn to things because they're lost on what to do with their time.
Plus,
And
it teaches you to be disciplined if you think about it. Like, think about the discipline, you know what I mean? So that will draw into real life. Like, for example, you're not going to feel like skipping work. You're not going to, like, you always, you're going to be able to stay an extra hour if your boss asks you to do overtime. So I think playing video games does a lot of good things to you if
if
you
you can if
focus
you
on
can
that.
balance now, and people's obligations, everybody's obligations in their own minds differentiates person to person basis, whether it's somebody with a girlfriend and a job, somebody with kids and a family, somebody with just a job. If you're able to balance your obligations and your hobbies at the same time, then I feel like sky's the limit. You can do as much of it as you want. But when it comes to like if the game was affecting my work, I would obviously have to make a change in that aspect because I can't afford to have a roof over my head. I can't afford internet. I can't afford to eat if I'm not performing at work. So for me, it's a matter of keeping the mentality of putting my obligations first, putting the game second. But we're straying off again. I want to answer some more of these questions in here.
Which
Um,
top page players do you guys admire? Any top pagers that are unknown in the community? And what you guys will do
Oh,
after 200 Malal?
oh, I'm
um,
excited for this question.
top page players that I admire. We're gonna base this off of consistency, motivation. How they conduct themselves in the community, so on, so on. Um, Probably for me, the person that I see is somebody who's been like one of the biggest influences in the community and one of the most vocal and one of the people that's done the most in promotion of the skilling atmosphere and the kind of rough and tough mentality of elitism and efficiency is probably Randalicious. He's to this point he's grown to be the person that I look up to as a top player. Um, are there unknown top players in the community?
I was gonna,
There's
yeah, I was gonna say like I look up
answer
to.
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like in terms of looking up to players, I think that I really looked up to players back when I first started. So like when Vior was top page, that was really motivating to see. Transmusic had a lot of good things going on. Obviously Randy. But nowadays, I think that Hey Jace does a really good job being where he is, being as consistent as he is, because no one's more consistent than him. There's very few that compare.
Hmm,
Yeah, from day one. There's a few
fact.
others, but yeah. Top pagers unknown. I know. What's his name? Rot
Um,
Leopard. Rot Leopard's really not. Oh yeah, you go ahead, Paul.
He's
I
not
was
top
gonna say,
page.
Yeah, I know.
the player that I'm looking forward to, that I look up to, is probably Ardino. To be honest,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
reason why is not only because he's representing one of the Brazilian soccer players, but I think it's
Oh, it's
because
true.
um, it's the way he can balance out school and still average 90 hours a week. So I think
Hmm.
I think that's the way that I'm thriving towards when it comes to using time wisely. Is go for as much hours wisely as possible. Even though I'm inefficient, but what I mean by that is using the time that is available for me at the moment, making the most of it.
The next part of that question was, what will you guys do after 200 mil? If I achieve it, I'm not saying I will. You never know what could happen, but my only other passion in life is music, so I could definitely see myself writing music again and playing out again. My uncle has a band that plays actively in the community, and it could be something I could see myself doing again, definitely. Music. So, what about you, MIJ?
I guess it's too early to tell, right? Hopefully,
Yeah, it's a hard question to answer. It's like 5 years from now for me
well, it's
personally.
hard being in university. Yeah, hard to
I
answer
can't
that, but
I can't predict. It's hard to predict. That's why I won't even bother the topic of who do I think will be top 5 to 200 mil all, because a year ago,
I think that's a good question though. Like just to theorize about it.
I mean, it's a great it's a great to theorize it, but it changes every year. You get top 10 players that quit, they burn out, they get banned, they disappear, and you can sit there predicting. I mean, if I had to predict a top 5, my honest opinion, I'd probably say Link's number 1. I'd put my money down on his, if he stays as consistent as he is, time wise. I would probably put Sen's rank 2. I'd probably put Ardino rank 3. I would put either Sean Bay, or who else would I even think? I never really theorize about this too often. Probably Sean Bay at rank 4 with his pace. He's very consistent. Rank 5, I would probably. I can't see. I can't even really think. I never really think of this topic. But if I had to throw out a person that I could see as rank 5, I'd probably put Omar or Oscar or Omar, between the two of them, Oscar and Omar, for 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, links, sends, then see, I don't even remember. I'd have to think about this. This is a rough topic.
I think next year the high scores will definitely look more accurate. I was mentioning this a couple of days ago while streaming, and I'm really looking forward to that because then we can basically kind of tell like who will be probably like top 5 200 mil in the future by having a more accurate top 25 high scores.
Did I really forget Jace? Nah, Jace.
Well,
Jace was supposed to be 3 in that.
I was gonna now before you even chatted.
Yeah,
like, I was
sorry,
gonna say,
Jace. I forgot Jace. I don't know how I forgot Jace, but sorry about that.
yeah,
Jace would be my number 3.
Yeah, before you even spoke, I was gonna put him number 2. Like I was gonna say Lynx.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Didn't
Lynx.
Jace get isn't Jace the second most EHP in the game at the moment? Didn't he get it?
Yeah. I think he's gonna finish second. I was gonna say Lynx,
Yeah.
Jace, Sens, maybe I think Oscar, and then God Tormentor is gonna be 5th. I think he's gonna pull it through.
I mean, I go off of hourly averages and yearly averages, and I saw a tweet at one point of Jace saying probably late 2019 for his finish, and at the pace of someone like Sens, he's on pace for probably this around the 2019, early 2020. Guys like Dino, if he keeps his pace, 2019, 2020. It's like it's all in the same. It's like all within the same couple of years coming up. But at the same time, I don't feel confident or like I have the right to depict who I
Just
think
think about it.
would be.
Maintaining
What if
90-hour EHP a week for the next 5 to 6 years.
What if a
That's
new
why
skill,
it's very a touchy subject.
what if a new
I
skill
just
comes
don't feel
out?
I have the right to depict it. I burn out every year or so. I burn out for a couple months at a time. So who am I to predict who's going to be top 5? I can't
At
see.
least you enjoy summer. I got to give you that.
Yeah, I try to enjoy my summers, but at the same time, maybe I should take a look harder into, the placing of ranks and who will be where and who will be. Because I would like to have a more accurate, list, I guess you could say, but I really
Next
don't
year,
know.
next year, I think.
Probably by a year from now, there'd probably be a good,
Yeah.
like a much better layout, I guess you could say. It's too soon. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at the time to 200 mil all, the rank 2 player is 60% of the way there. The rank 3 is 59%. The rank 5 is 52%. So the rank 5 player currently is halfway to 200 mil all. How can I accurately place something that's going to take another 4 years plus?
Yeah.
Somebody that we don't even know right now could make an
Good.
account, have unlimited free time, and be rank 3 years from now. They could end up playing 5K years, 3 of them back to back to back. Who knows? You can't. It's just very
Yeah.
hard to depict
I
it.
mean, given the past with like guys burning out, Mini Finbar. I mean, a lot of these guys who were icons. I mean, yeah, you do never know. That's why the question is pretty light in my opinion. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you think because you just got to go out there and do it. And yes, a lot of things can happen.
I think only time will tell.
Yeah.
Only time will tell. Any more questions, guys?
Some more questions. We got another 15 minutes. It's sad that you guys look too long into the future, making plans to show them all in 4 or 5 years. What the fuck? How you try to play the game in 1 year? Oh, it's not really a question.
Oh yeah, that is. Okay, so you gotta have a long-term plan goal, but the thing is, you don't have to actually reach it. You gotta focus on your behavior right now. That's gonna
You can
get you to your
theorize
goal.
it. You can
Yeah,
theorize.
so basically use it as a target. You know what I mean by a target? Something that you can just look at. So that's how I see a long-term goal is as a target, something that will keep you on the right track and something to aim
It's
for. But I think behavior is where your 100% of your focus needs to be on, because that's what's gonna get you there. When you focus on your goal, you never achieve it. Think about it. Like, think about anybody in this planet that ever focused on their goal. They never achieved it. But those people that achieve their goal is the one that focus on behavior and discipline. So the more you build your discipline and behavior, the more realistic your long-term goal will look like, or
I mean, I
will
feel
be.
like I feel like with that statement, I don't necessarily 100% agree because I know a lot of people out there, a lot of the people I work with, some are doctors, some are nurses, so on, so on. Their goal in life was to be a doctor, and they made it to that point. They achieved that goal. But I like,
Yeah, but
I
if you ask them, so your long-term goal was to be a doctor, but what did you do to become a, see? And then they'll
well,
say, oh, I
yeah,
had
yeah,
to
that's
focus on going to school. I
the
had
day
to
by
focus on
day.
studying. I had to focus on my behavior. See, behavior.
The day by day
So
is definitely huge.
yeah, that's what gets you to your goal is your behavior and discipline.
If you log in and your views go as just to the next day, then I don't see very much longevity in that. I was talking to NYJ earlier today on Skype, and we were having a pretty big conversation about how we set goals that are long term, and it sometimes gets a little anxious because you lay out the goal. You picture in your head, okay, if I stay consistent for this amount of weeks, X amount of weeks, I'm gonna complete X amount of goals. But then you start feeling a little, like me personally, I start feeling anxious. It's like, okay, yeah, this is taking long. This, weeks are going by, months are going by. But if you set a long goal, but then you try to take it a day at a time, and just if you make it through today, then you've won, in my opinion. Like, today was a successful day. I completed my quota. I made money. I did what I wanted to do. Tomorrow, if we wake up, we'll take it from there. It's the way I look at life in general nowadays. Is I keep my goals in perspective, but I take it a day at a time. And as
It's
long
like
as
poking the bear, you just keep poking it, poke it, instead of just trying to kill it instantly. You gotta watch out. You gotta see the weaknesses, which is on yourself. So
you're your
I
biggest enemy. in my opinion, you're your own worst enemy in life in general because you're the one making the decisions. No one should be making your decisions for you. And on a game like this, where it's very well, like in the community, it's very much seen as, if you do this, you won't get respected. If you do this, you won't get valued. Blah 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 blah. People are throwing that ego out there of like, oh, I did this, value me, notice me, and it's like, at that point, what are you doing at that point when you have to do something just so other people will value it and appreciate it? Then did you do it for yourself or did you do it for your peers? But I'm gonna take some more questions. We got a long one here. Do you guys feel bad missing out of episode masterpieces of the games that you guys won't have the time to play because of the amount of time RS takes, or would you guys possibly play those games after? Examples like Elder Scrolls games.
Good question.
That's a really good question. For me personally, I've played other games. They're not as repetitive and long as this game. This game for me is the exact thing that I was looking for in a game. It's repetitive. It's easy. It's pretty straightforward. You do the same thing. A lot of the times you're repeating the actions over and over again.
And you don't feel like taking it as serious as RuneScape, I feel like, if you play any other game out there.
No, not in my opinion.
So less pressure?
Not personally. Definitely less pressure. Yeah. What about you, MIJ? Is there any games?
Not really. I mean, I only look at RuneScape, to be honest. I mean, I don't really think of anything else. Is this really like? I think this is some. I don't know if it was Paul or Dave, but one of you guys, like, you said, like, you need to be the RuneScaper. These guys are.
Yes,
gamers,
this was me. I said.
Okay, what you said? Yeah, you said. Yeah, go ahead.
There are gamers, then there are old school RuneScape players. Okay, by that I mean there are people that play many games, then there are people that play old school RuneScape. I am an old school RuneScape player. That's the way I look at it. There's no.
How about those that plays like they plays multiple contents, but yet they still playing RuneScape? Are they gamers?
Hey, if you're able to, at that point you're a RuneScaper. Okay, if you play all the versions of the game, you're a RuneScaper. If you play old school, you're an old schooler. If you play other games, you're a gamer. There's 3 different variants here. For me personally, like I said, I'm an old school RuneScape player. This is what I play. I don't find any interest in the other versions of the game. I respect people's decisions, except Iron Man. No, I'm just kidding. But for me, it's old school RuneScape. That's the game that I like. That's what I want to play. And if other people want to do other things, that's up to them.
I mean, I hate to say this, but the majority of people that burnt out for other games. Like, it was because of another game for the most part. I mean, I think
so. You reckon they're having that kind of pressure of like, okay, I'm spending a lot of time on RuneScape, but I'm missing out on games like PUBG, for example, or League of Legends.
Yeah,
I guess it depends on where they're at.
I think long term it really hurts. Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen historically, yes, guys burn out because of other games.
Do you guys enjoy the game for the rank based mentality of it? Correct, like playing old school.
A lot of what I do is for fun. I mean, I do a lot of things. Paul does a lot of things as well, and even pretty much all of us, we do a lot of things that are not really conventional. 1-to-1 EHP. So I think there's a lot of it is based on fun, like the fun aspect, but a lot of it does revolve around the ranks, I think.
I mean, when I play a game, I like to get ranks on it.
Yeah.
I like the climb. I got up on top page, I quit, I fell off. I'm enjoying the climb back up to top page.
Well, I think
to climb.
I think the one thing I enjoy more is just finishing skills to 200 mil. Like, that's what I enjoy the most.
The byproduct mentality.
Yeah. That's how I see the game as well. Like, I see 23 skills that needs to be 200 mil XP on it. That's it. Like, nothing else.
Yeah, I like seeing, like,
and how long it takes. How long it takes is what keeps me around. It's like, it takes a long time. Okay, so that will keep me around.
Now, we have a few more minutes. Is there anything else relevant to the topic at hand here, like long-term outlooks, any sort of questions that you have for the last couple minutes here? Well, we can answer 1 or 2 more questions. Okay, well with that, oh, we got one. What do you necessarily forget your top page eventually? What do I? That is a beautiful question. That'll be the question we end the night on. First of all, good question, Negro. What do we think is necessary for getting top page eventually from a fresh account? You're gonna want to go for max. First of all, you're gonna want to do it. You're gonna want to try to get it done as efficiently as possible.
Because of the perks and stuff like that.
Correct. You're gonna want to make an alt as soon as possible as well. That will benefit you.
While maxing.
That will heaps benefit you because you'll be making money the whole time. Look at these guys. After you've maxed, you're gonna want to do the disposable skilling, which disposable skilling is thieving. With knights, you could do knights, you could do plunder, cooking, fire making. Those are fast, cheap skills. Alongside zero time nightmare zone is if you have zero time ability. A daily tree run is also very important in the up and coming stages, especially if you're a person who wants to see yourself getting top page
The
at any
trifecta.
rate. The trifecta, yeah.
Crafting could be another skill put up in there.
Yeah.
Because I heard the GP per
Crafting is
XP is
very
like
cheap
what?
now.
4 GP per XP?
It's about 4.5, but it's going down at this point.
That's getting to as cheap as gray chins at this point.
Gray chinning, I mean, if you want to get fat DMP and you want to get a lot of total XP, gray chinning is very cheap, and it's about 800k XP per hour overall, about 850k. What do my alts do for money? Wyverns. But anyway, back to the topic. What else would you guys recommend for somebody on a fresh account who sees themselves as a top page potential player? What path would you put them on? Would you recommend?
Well, if you're talking about top page, then yes, the fast skills. And to do that, you need that alt, as they mentioned. I think if you play a lot of it's based on volume. If you play a lot, you can certainly get away with doing oak doors, for example, gray chins, stuff like that. If you play a lot. So depending on the alts, you can get to those skills quickly and efficiently.
For sure. So basically, for the person who asked, and if anybody else has ever thought of top ranks, top 100, top 50, whatever, it's a matter of using your money, making money through alts helps a lot. I would say that it's almost necessary unless you have completely unlimited free time. It's almost necessary if you're somebody who sees yourself as somebody wanting a top page rank. Alts are going to be a very large factor in your success on that. And other than that, just staying consistent and staying motivated, keeping your goals long term, like a lot of the things we talked about tonight. Other than that, we're going to call it at this point. We hope that everybody had a good time, and we're going to hopefully do these on a weekendly basis. If not streamed, we'll have them on YouTube. So anything else you guys want to say?
Yes.
Thanks for all the questions, and appreciate you guys tuning in today.
Yes.
And by the way, guys, just a heads up, I'll be streaming about 2 hours from now. If you guys want to come back and tune in, feel free.
MYJ?
Yes, thank you for watching, and this should be on YouTube, I think, tomorrow, maybe tomorrow night. And yeah, I think next weekend we'll do another one, so that should be interesting. Still waiting for our next guest, so I don't know who that person will be, if they're interested.
There will be a next guest?
But there's going to be someone, yeah, there's going to be maybe 4 people, yeah.
There will be another guest.
But we'll see, yeah, we'll spice it up a little.
He's going to be a surprise. He'll be a surprise guest.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's not a surprise if it's going to be Evan.
No, I don't know. I mean,
no, I'm joking.
If he's on it, there
I'm
might be
joking.
5 people. Who knows? Like, it's unlimited. There could be many.
All right.
It won't be Evan.
There's no limitations.
But there will be. I've talked to this person. I've confirmed it. Hold on. Let me PM them again. let me get the confirmation real quick before I say anything. But hold on, we're waiting. Okay, we got a confirmation. So that person, they're a big name in the community, and we'll release their information and their password and everything. No, I'm just kidding. We'll say who they are at that point, but we're gonna keep it a secret for the week. So everybody look forward to that, and we hope everybody has a nice night, makes some gains for the week, and enjoys the content put out there by the other streamers out there. So that's it. Have a great
All right.
night, everybody.
Take care,
Thank you.
boys.